Disrupt.
Hey, you! Yes, you. Welcome to Disrupt. So glad you could join me. My name is Taylor Olson, and as your host, it's my pleasure to introduce you to some great artists with disabilities. As a matter of fact, the main reason Disrupt exists is to challenge the perceptions of artists with disabilities, like me. I make my living as an artist, creating for film, television, and theater. I'm way more than my diagnoses of CPTSD and eating disorders. And Disrupt is way more than the artists you will meet tonight. As the old saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a village to make Disrupt. To make this show happen is a team of talented people, many who live with a disability. With that, let's get this show on the road. Kicking things off is Acadian artist Martin Daigle, who lives with learning disabilities. The 2022 winner of Music NB's Innovator of the Year Award, Martin is an interdisciplinary performer, composer, researcher, and producer from New Brunswick. He will perform La Rage by Pierre-Alexandre Tremblay.
Sitting before a drum kit, Martin, a man with short hair and a beard, slowly swipes a long bristled brush across a cymbal. He drags a tiny blue mallet across the snare and toms. He taps the cymbal with the brush handle while still dragging the mallet across the left tom. He flips the brush and sweeps the surface of the right tom. Continuing to drag the mallet on the tom, he rapidly brushes the cymbal. Flipping the brush, he plays the kit with the handle. Setting the brush aside, he takes a drumstick with a wad of tissue muffling the end and taps the various drums and cymbals with it, still dragging the mallet. He sets the mallet aside, exchanging it for two drumsticks. One in each hand, he tests the kit. He sets the muffled drumstick aside and settles in to play the kit.
And now for a Hamlet moment by Hanlon McGregor, which was inspired both by his own mental health battles and the battles of trans people around the world. Hanlon is a theater and media arts creator living in Toronto, Ontario. A word of warning, this film discusses suicide, so please take care of yourself.
A person gazes in a mirror.
We still have those days, eh?
Hamlet moment
You and I.
by Hanlon McGregor.
When the task of doing what needs doing is huge effort.
Under the Bus Productions, Hanlon's Point Productions, and Isa's Film Studio.
When those needling moments are so deflating. When I'm heart weary, every unkind word is excruciating. We used to fantasize, didn't we? About going to the roof of a building and surrendering to gravity. The idea of escaping from a world that feels hateful is a relief. For a moment, imagining falling from those heights, sinking into the ground, like Neo in the Matrix. Pain of every bone breaking at once. The silence, the freedom, the heartbreak. No, that comes later. Knowing that Drew, Blair, Iris would need us and we wouldn't be there. Perhaps watching them suffer from the other side of the mirror, unable to hold them. This is our Hamlet moment. This is our Hamlet moment. Is our Hamlet moment. Yours, 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 and mine, and mine, and mine. We both know we won't jump. It's just a fantasy of escaping from the ugliness and the pain. But if we exert the comments, great effort of focus, and the glares, the threatening posturing are always overpowered by the unconditionality of the love we are given. No matter what gender this body performs, I still get around in it. There is always more love than hate to be had. Still tempting to run away. Go to the forest. Wear a plaid shirt and chop wood.
He gazes ahead, smiling. In loving memory of Kit Curry.
Sometimes art takes us to some hard places. Thank you, Hanlon. Let's take a quick break before we soak in some more amazing art on Disrupt. And we're back on Disrupt. Next up, we have Ghost Friends Sand Painting by Damian. Based in Edmonton, Alberta, Damian is a 2D animator who has a chronic illness that affects his energy levels and uses crutches to walk. With a passion for experimental animation, he loves to express emotions through art.
In fast motion, a painter applies black sand to a cartoon sketch of a person and spreads the pigment with a brush. They outline the sketch's unkempt hair. They put down the brush to add more sand around the hairline. Then, they fill in the large eyes with black sand. They brush some of the pigment into eyelashes. Next, they fill in the triangle-shaped nose. Then, they outline the upper lip, add light gray pigment to fill the mouth, and fill the lower lip. After making some adjustments to the mouth, they fill in the cheeks. They proceed to outline the chin and lower hair. They adjust some of the neck sketch, outline the left side, and fill in the left shoulder. Next, they fill the right shoulder, then the collar. They fill in the chest area with gray sand, touch up the shoulder outlines, and add a black line across the neck. Next, they use a wide brush to smooth the gray areas around the person. They adjust and touch up some of the hair outlines. Then, they add dark lines radiating around the head. They add some gray to the eyes, then diffuse the radiating lines. They add more black sand to the eyes, cheeks, and neck. Then draw gray X's in the eyes.
Thanks, Damian. Next, Kayla Flinn brings us her short film, 1 in 6. Kayla lives with PTSD and ADHD and is a Halifax, Nova Scotia-based filmmaker. Her film asks its audience to think about how abuse in relationships is normalized in film by undisputedly romanticizing a violent altercation between two people in love. Now, some viewers may find this challenging, so please take a break if you do.
Trigger warning. The following film contains scenes of domestic violence. 1 in 6. A man climbs stairs to an apartment, carrying a satchel and a certificate.
When you fall in love, it's a much more serious involvement. You just cannot forget this person. You feel miserable. when not in their presence. You're always yearning, let's get, see more of each other, let's get together, we're completely entangled. And then you see, you've actually, a kind of what I will call spiritual element has been introduced.
He squats beside a bathtub.
Falling in love
A woman sits up in the tub.
is a thing that strikes like lightning and is therefore extremely analogous to the mystical vision.
She reaches for the rim. Later, she's sprawled on a floor.
We don't know how really people attain the mystical vision.
Time runs backwards. Blood
But
pools.
as yet we are not clear as to why it comes about. And if there is any method of attaining it, the best one is probably to give up the whole idea of getting it. But you see, it is completely unpredictable. And so it is, in that way, like falling in love,
He punches her.
falling. You see, we don't say rising into love.
He throws her to the ground.
There is in it the idea of the fall. And goes back, as a matter of fact, to extremely fundamental things.
He slams her into a bookcase. A plant falls and
There is
shatters.
always a curious tie at some point between the fall and the creation. Taking this ghastly risk is the condition of there being life.
He chases her out of the bathroom and down a corridor.
You see, for all, the life is an act of faith and an act of gamble.
She pushes him away and escapes the bathroom.
The moment you take a step, you do so on an act of faith because you don't really know that the floor is not going to give under your feet. See, you've given yourself up. But this is the most powerful thing that can be done. Surrender. See, and love is an act of surrender to another person. I give myself. Take me, do anything you like.
He grips her neck and shoves her under as water splashes his shoes, bag, and certificate. She gazes with fear. The certificate is a leadership award, lauding Christopher Smith for his exemplary leadership while remaining kind and empathetic. One woman every 6 days in Canada is killed by her intimate partner. 1 in 6.
Thank you, Kayla. And with that, let's hit pause on Disrupt. Disrupt is back and we're going to space. Well, not exactly, but we do have Ada Chan's Welcome to Outer Space. Ada is a medal-winning Special Olympian, a mentor, an European Sports Wall of Fame inductee, a Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal recipient, and an artist with Down syndrome.
In drawings,
Magic window, it brings me to outer space. So many stars. Wait, a spaceship is coming and land on the moon. Blinking things. Door open, a tiny people comes out and wave at me.
3 aliens wave. Inside, a sign reads, "Welcome to outer space."
Wait me to go inside. The room is so big. A tiny people get something on the table. What is this? Chicken tender and soup balls. So nice and flying everywhere, and let's eat.
Soup balls and chicken tenders float into everyone's mouths.
So delicious.
They smile.
Yum, 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 yum. I am so full now, so let's dance. Ticka-ticka-ticka.
Joyous work, Ada. Our last film, Grounded, is by award-winning French-Canadian editor and filmmaker Annie Leclerc. It features Marie-Hélène Bellevance, a prolific artist and unique dancer who has used her disability as a very special tool to reinvent herself as a committed creator, woman, and a mother.
A varnished hardwood floor reflects 2 people.
Comme si on prend un courant,
Imagine
et on
catching
se
the
laisse
current.
guider par
Let
le
it
courant.
guide you. An older woman with black hair looks on as the 2 people, a man and woman, pose and move. They stand hunched over, each with an arm outstretched. They slowly pull in their arms and straighten, cupping their hands as if holding something. Then they stretch their arms above their heads. Don't initiate the movement. Just emerge from it. The woman, Marie-Hélène, has prosthetic lower legs and feet.
La danse, c'est un défi.
Dance is a challenge because of my childhood fears. When I had my prosthetic legs, I restrained myself from dancing. Because of the physical challenge, I observe myself from an outside perspective. That's the danger, because we get too critical and stop moments from happening. I have to let dance carry me. The dancers stretch their swirling hands upward. Not just movement, not just classical dance or academic, a dance from within, and it follows my approach to my painting, starting with something personal and intimate above all, to touch the intimacy of others. Various blooms adorn a canvas. Marie-Hélène approaches a large painting and adds details to it. After a moment, she steps back and sits on a chair facing two canvases. When I came out of the hospital at 11 years old, I started walking with prosthetic legs, and for me, it had to go unnoticed. There was this choice to make my prosthetic legs invisible because it can be hidden. I'm not in a wheelchair, and I'm going to walk so well it won't show at all. I wanted it to go unnoticed. Then, as kids came into my life, and as they got older, I wanted it to show. A note reads, "Bless you, and I deeply do, no longer resolute, and I call to you." A doll, painted white, is attached to fabric. Two young girls point out other broken dolls and toys, also painted and attached to a wedding dress. Marie-Hélène's prosthetic legs lie beside a water bottle. Another pair leans against a table.
We come together, here we go.
Sitting, Marie-Hélène mimes pulling a rope. A young girl crawls to her. Touching foreheads, they rise to their knees and shake their shoulders. They drop down and stretch legs out behind them. Marie-Hélène spins, and both dancers stretch on the ground. Marie-Hélène props herself on her hands and knees. The girl shuffles under her. Léonore is 6 years old, and in the last years, her friends have realized, and I don't want to be hiding. I really want to be free of this, so she can feel the same. Okay, my difference is really visible, but we all have one. We all have scars or differences, and I wanted her to realize it's important. I reveal myself. You should too. Marie-Hélène lies back and holds Léonore above her. Léonore rests her feet on Marie-Hélène's raised legs and spreads her arms. Then Léonore stands. If you're holding back, it's a shame. We can go further when we let go, when accepting vulnerability. And I think that, when vulnerable, we're stronger. On her knees, Marie-Hélène stretches upward. I'm happy without feet. It sounds really weird, but it has allowed me to achieve so much. Perhaps by transforming the situation that can be depressing. Now it's not. It's a driving force of creation. People mingle at a gallery of Marie-Hélène's work, including a flower in a pile of soil. So for me, it's how to transform something that hurts into something that blooms
qui est clos puis qui
and
est
is very
magnifique.
beautiful.
Donc, comment on peut
So how can we lighten that
alléger
pain?
cette douleur-là?
Focused on her prosthetic feet, Maria Len enters a corridor.
And with that, we drop the curtain on another season of Disrupt. Well, not literally, our curtains don't actually drop like that. Thanks for spending your time with us. These incredible artists are the future, and we cannot wait for you to witness more of their amazing work as they continue to defy expectation and break boundaries. See you next time.
Director and host, Taylor Olson. Producer, Rachel Bauer. Production manager, Lynn Matheson. Director of photography, Scott Barrington. Described video, Mark Phoenix. Location sound, Olivia King. Writers, Lynn Matheson, Taylor Olson. Editor, Peter Gaskin. Production designer, Jackson Noble. Camera operators, Cody Morris. Brandon Boyd. Composer, Jordell Downey. Makeup artist, Jennifer Lee Murphy. Assistant editor, Kelly Rose. Assistant director, Spencer McKay. Camera assistants, Madison Hughes. Loretta Linden. Sound assistant, DJ Giles. Assistant production designer, KJ Lewis. Third assistant director, Jay McManus. Production assistant, Jeff Harrop. Logo design, Daniel Jardine. Legal services, David C. Perlmutter. Inclusive mentorship coordinators, Lynn Matheson. Teamwork Cooperative. Special thanks, Art Pays Me. Directors Guild of Canada, Maritimes. Thanks to La Rage. Copyright 2004-2005, Pierre-Alexandre Tremblay. SOCAN. EMX Media. SOCAN. Produced in association with Accessible Media Inc. Integrated Described Video Consultant, M. Williams. Copyright 2024, Accessible Media Inc.
An AMI original production.